Hey everybody, welcome to Everyday Journey. Today we're going to go over my newest purchase. This is the Drill Doctor Model 750X. This thing's pretty simple to use. I've actually already opened it up, but let's go ahead and open it up just so you guys can see what comes in it. So as you can see, I've actually already opened this up because I wanted to familiarize myself with it so that I could tell you guys roughly what all it entails and how to do it. But this thing, the main reason why I got it is because I do a lot of drilling with small holes. When you get to the bigger drill bits, you can actually, those are okay, fairly simple to sharpen yourself. But when you get to the smaller ones, it's really hard to do anything with that, to hand sharpen them. So, and rather than buy a whole bunch, I just got this so that I could do it. But here it says it can sharpen 3/32, which is pretty small, all the way up to 3/4 inch drill bits. That's probably about as big as I'm going to deal with, so this should cover all my bases. The other good thing about this thing is we can actually change the angle of the sharpening. Common 118 degrees is pretty common, but if you're drilling harder materials, stainless steel, things like that, you might want to actually change that to a little bit flatter so that it can actually drill it a little better, and save the life of your drill bit at the same time. This right here allows you to change that. It can go from, let's see what it says, 115 to 140 degrees. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I probably will keep it mostly at 118, but I've got lots of drill bits now. If you guys saw in one of my previous videos, that I'll probably have me some sharpened up for different angles, because I do work with stainless steel, but most of my stuff will be aluminum and, well, just square tubing. So I should be pretty safe with just keeping it at the 118. But this also will sharpen a split point, which they didn't really have as an option before. Granted, I'll show you what that is, what that entails, and whether or not I like it or not. But let's go ahead and open it up. So inside, some of them come with a hard case. This one I thought was going to come with a hard case, but it turns out it's actually just a soft case, which is fine. I've got something to put it in. That's all that really matters. You can carry it around, but keep everything right here all together. Inside it, you got your manuals and a couple of the other paperwork. Then we have the wrench that you use in here, and we've got what holds your drill bits while you do the sharpening. And then we've got the actual main attraction, the Drill Doctor 750X. So go ahead and fire this thing up, let you guys see quickly how to do this. It's really simple. You almost can't mess it up. Alright, for those who don't know, this here is a regular sharpened bit. It actually just tapers all the way from the cutting edge all the way back, so that you've actually got relief on there, so it's not actually dragging against the material. This on the left, well, this one right here, is actually one that's been cut to a split point, and you can see it there. It comes all the way to a very point right there in the center, so that it doesn't wobble around, and that way you can stay on mark where you're trying to drill. So there you can see one from the very end of it there. It kind of almost looks like a bow tie, but you can see on this one it's actually been carved back some off of the main cutting edge, and then it drops off and starts doing a real hard, relief down into the spiral. This one, like I said, it does not. It just slightly curves all the way down from the cutting edge. So that's the difference between the two. The split point is just really good at drilling on the point that you're trying to start with. Alright, so let's get this thing plugged in. That way we can get down to business. I've seen so many things on this, maybe not this specific model, but I've seen so many things about this that I actually just want to clear this up with people. That way they could see it's really not that bad. I'm going to try to get a little bit better drill bit here. This doesn't, like this one right here. We can see this one right here is fairly well used. Granted, it's not going to take a lot. It's not going to take a lot to get it back in condition, but it's fairly well used. So we're going to go ahead and use this one to begin with, and just show you how this goes. So anyway, I'm not going to use the technical names for it, but this right here is our drill bit holder. How you do it? Just unscrew it here until we get it wide enough on the inside. It's opening it up just wide enough to be able to slip the drill bit in. Once it's in there, we're going to go ahead and tighten it up just a little bit until it's got some friction on it, but as the instructions say, it doesn't slip out. So now we take it and open up this, which is the little grabber, which kind of grabs your drill bit and puts it in the position it needs to be in. And then we're going to place this in. There's a little mark here. Well, there's a little indentation or whatever that sticks out, kind of like a finger or whatever. I'm putting that right into the 118 mark that's right here on the top, because this one's going to be 118. Now I'm going to spin the drill bit a little bit and release these so that it gets it in the right position. And right there, what it's doing is squeezing down on either side of that drill bit, and it's kind of twisting it into the position it needs to be in, so that when it sharpens at 118, it's going to sharpen right. There's an adjustment knob right here in the back of this that will adjust this little screw further in or further out. All that's going to do is change how much it actually takes off of the drill bit. This one we're going to set it pretty shallow because I don't want to take a lot off of it, although we may have to sharpen it a couple of times to be able to get down to the proper depth, because I'm not sure if this thing is sharpened to 118. So anyway, now we just tighten this up and then pull it out. Now the drill bit's in there nice and tight, and what we're going to do is set it over here. This is actually where the sharpening happens. Here you just unscrew this knob, set the position to 118 so that it's sharpening at the proper angle, and then we're ready to go. Just tighten it back up. So we'll put this in here. These little tick marks on the side here, there's one on this side and there's one on this side. When you turn it, every time you see one, you've turned it a half turn. We're just going to turn this thing on and go over, it says 3 or 4 times, or if you want, you can go until you stop hearing the sharpening sound. But make sure that you do it evenly. It says so that you make sure and sharpen each side of the drill bit evenly. So each half turn, you would want to make sure and go ahead and do the other half turn. That way you make sure and sharpen both sides of the drill bit. And what it's doing, this thing is actually, as you turn it, it's rocking back and forth, because this is kind of oblong right here. It's rocking back and forth, and it's giving you that relief off of the cutting edge. So it's trimming, it's cutting, sharpening the cutting edge, but then it's backing it off and cutting down a little further. That way when you're drilling, you're not, the whole surface or the whole cutting edge is not just dragging against the material. It's just the very beginning of the cutting edge that's actually hitting the material. So anyway, that's pretty much it. We'll just go ahead and turn it on and go ahead and let you see how it sounds. Alright, as you can tell, I wasn't hearing anything anymore. I was pretty sure that this thing was not 118 degrees, and if you can see there, it's only sharpening right at the very point of this, which means it's definitely not 118 degrees. So after we stopped hearing it like that, we're going to go ahead and put this thing back in here and go ahead and take a little more off. And I'm actually going to back this screw off a little bit so that we're taking more off than that. That way we've actually got it to where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, loosen the drill bit, and then go ahead and let this back down. And I'm just adding a little bit of pressure right here to the drill bit. That way I know that it's seated all the way forward. And then it's positioned it there, so we're going to go ahead and tighten it down again. And then we're going to try it again. This should take off a little bit more this time. Alright, and as you can see there, it's actually taken off quite a bit more. It's all the way around it. And but it doesn't have the split point in it. So in order to do the split point part, we'll go ahead and show you that real quick. What we do is just spin this around. And you can see there's a port right here. Just remove this little cover, and we're just going to put it right here for now. And then there we go. We're going to place, there's a little mark right here on the metal itself, and then we're going to go ahead and line up this mark with that. So we turn it on, we press it into there. Take it back out, turn it around to the other side, do the same thing. Turn it around again. And again. Now let me show you what this is doing here. What it's doing is it's carving out on the back side of this, on either side, so that it's going to get that bow tie look on the point. And you can look at it, you can keep doing this over and over again until you start to get that bow tie. And what you really want is for that to be a nice point where this angle comes in line with the other angle on the other side, and so that in the back side of it does the same thing with this side over here. That way you get a nice little bow tie look. That's gonna, and right now you can see that it's still, there's still a line across the top edge of that, the very point. You don't want that. You want it to actually be a point. So you just keep doing this over and over again until you get the results that you're looking for. Alright, so here is the drill bit that I actually was trying to show you before. It has that bow tie look on the very end of it. It's kind of blurry, so bear with me here. See if we can get it to focus. There we go. I think that's a little better. There we go. Okay, so you can see the relief on that. It's actually got the actual full bow tie look to it. The cut on the back of it is coming down quite a ways away, but it's coming down at a less of an angle than what I'm about to show you. This here is the one that I sharpened myself. You can see right there, this angle that's coming there on the back side of it is because this thing uses a dome, or not dome, a cylinder wheel to sharpen. When it comes to doing this cut on the back of it, to give you that split point look to it, it actually has quite a bit of a, you can see it dishes it out back there. That's part of the problem that I may have with this. I don't know for sure because I haven't used it yet to a lot anyway to tell you for sure, but there isn't a lot of material back behind that cutting edge, and that right there could cause a problem. It could actually cause it to where it weakens the cutting edge some and allows it to chip or break off easier. And I've been going through quite a bit of drill bits here lately, so it does get it sharp. we're about to see how sharp it gets it. But you can see too, and let me actually, I mean this one looks pretty good. Let me get a bigger drill bit. This is that right there was a number 7, I believe it is, for drilling and tapping. 1/4 inch holes. This is a 1/2 inch. This one is actually one that somebody broke, and I just took the nub of it and decided to try and sharpen it up. First off, I tried to sharpen it up myself by hand. So that's some of that's some of what you see on the back side of this cutting edge here, is me sharpening it myself, and I didn't do a very good job. But I did use this to resharpen the cutting edge. There's a little bit of chipping there. I think again that's partly from me. But you can see there, you can see a lot of, almost like you took this to a fairly rough grinder. And this is a diamond wheel that we're using here. Granted, it may kind of hone out a little bit the more you use it, so it may get a little bit smoother. So granted, you really don't have to care about that so much because you're supposed to be drilling it out. As long as this thing has a nice sharp cutting edge, that's really all we need to worry about. But I just wanted to show you guys that. So this is one that I didn't actually cut the split point into because I don't need it. With a 1/2 inch, I mean you're gonna drill a pilot hole first. So alright, so we've got some aluminum up here. This looks to be about 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna go ahead and drill a pilot hole. Doesn't matter if it's aluminum or steel. We're just looking at what the drill looks like whenever it's actually drilling the hole. So this right here, we'll just drill the pilot hole. There we go. You can see this thing is very dull. So we're going to go ahead and sharpen this up. Well, we're going to go ahead and drill with it first, and then sharpen it and try it again. So let's see how it does. Nothing. I mean, it's just, this thing is so dull it's not going to work. So let's sharpen it and try it again. Alright, this literally took me like 20-30 seconds to do. You can see it's quite a bit sharper there. So let's see how it does. And granted, this is without the split point. I didn't bother to put that on there. We've already got a pilot hole. So let's see how it does this time. Alright, battery died. Let's try again. Woo. The drill's smoking. Anyway, there we go. Probably about to ruin my drill. This thing's old anyway, but went right through there. Granted, I could probably spend another 30 seconds on there, sharpen up even better, and the split point couldn't hurt either. But it went right through there without any issues, where before it wasn't even biting into it at all. Alright, so there you go. Is this thing perfect? No, not perfect. But for your average guy working in his workshop, doesn't want to go out and buy drill bits all the time, especially the small ones, this thing works great. Just take a few seconds, sharpen it up, good to go. If you break one even, you can take your drill bit, take it over to your grinder, grind it off to the rough shape that it needs to be, and then stick it in here, finish it off, get it nice and sharp again. As long as it's still got some of the cutting, you know, some of the spiral flute still on there, there's a good chance you can just sharpen it right up and use it again. Granted, it's going to be considerably shorter, but oh well, you still got a drill bit. Is this thing perfect for everybody? No. A tool shop, they're going to have a much better one. But if you're just a small shop, mechanic shop or something like that, to have one of these things sitting around would probably do you pretty good. It takes a few seconds to get it set up in there, get your drill bit sharpened, you're done, you move on, continue on with the job. You're not waiting on or trying to borrow somebody else's drill bits. You could just get it and move on. Especially with the smaller drill bits, because the bigger ones, yeah, you can sharpen those by hand if you're good enough, but you could do the smaller ones that are really hard to sharpen by hand, and you don't have to keep buying those over and over and over again. And right there, you're going to make up your money right there, because I mean, you buy a drill bit. I think at my work, if I were to go through our tool account and get one, I think a smaller one, let's say a 1/8 drill bit, probably cost me somewhere around $1. Well, if I can just keep sharpening it and sharpening it and sharpening it, every time I sharpen it versus just throw it away and get another one, I'm saving myself $1. Go through, do that 100 times, there, it pays for itself right there. Tool shop, yeah, time is money. They're going to want to go ahead and get, throw it away and get another one. But for everybody else, why not save $1? This thing will pay for itself. It may just take a little bit of time. So anyway, you got any questions, send them my way. I try to answer everybody, and as long as it's a good question that hasn't been answered before, and I'm always glad to hear from you guys. So anything more you want to know about it, go ahead and send something my way, and I'll try my best to answer it, or maybe even make another video. So anyway, guess we're done for now. You guys take care.